Okay, so as we all know, luxury travel credit cards are undergoing a rapid overhaul, including changes on the Capital Inventor X, Chase Sapphire Reserve, and soon the Amex Platinum. And for each card, despite what's being marketed or promoted by the banks, it's very clear to us credit card enthusiasts that it's getting much harder and more annoying to get value back from these types of cards. And as they fall out of favor, as I predict they will, in my opinion, hotel credit cards and hotel rewards programs are where you can still go to get a lot of value with not that much effort. So in this video, I'm going to explain my reasoning with recent personal examples from my travels over the past several months. And after that, I'm also going to make a major announcement about the future of this channel, so stick around for that as well. So as I said, over the past few months, I've been traveling a lot, both for personal and business reasons. As of the recording of this video, I've flown on 30 flights in 2025. All domestic, through 13 airports on 2 airlines. And in case you're curious about what airlines those are, it's not really that exciting, with 29 of those flights on Southwest and 1 flight on American Airlines. Now, there are several reasons why Southwest is still my preferred airline, even with their recent changes. My most frequent flight segment is Ontario to Sacramento, or vice versa, which is a route exclusively serviced by Southwest Airlines. And as you can see from this chart, about 63% of my flights is on this specific route. But another reason is that I have the Southwest Companion Pass, so my wife often flies with me too, and so far in 2025, she's flown 17 out of these 30 flight segments with me, so we're making great use out of this Companion Pass. Now, to get this Companion Pass for 2025 and 2026, I was approved for the Southwest Performance Business Card and the Southwest Priority Card, and from the combined welcome offers on both cards, we earned 165,000 Southwest points, which has helped us take some of these recent trips. And so between mid-April and mid-June of this year, we've taken 5 trips together to these 5 US cities: Chicago, Illinois, Orlando, Florida, Los Angeles, California, San Francisco, California, and Honolulu, Hawaii. And yes, I am from the Southern California area, so the LA and San Francisco trips were more like staycations, but I wanted to include them in this video because credit cards also played a big role in these trips as well. So let's go over each trip, what we spent on each one, which credit card we used, and what we learned from each of our hotel experiences, and why hotel credit cards are still worth it, especially now in this credit card world. Just as a side note, I won't be including the cent per point calculation for each redemption, but they were basically average to maybe slightly above average, which is typical for domestic redemptions. I also wanted to point out that all flights that we booked is for a Southwest ticket for one person, but as we have Companion Pass, I added my wife to that existing booking for just $5.60 per one-way segment. So starting from our first trip in Chicago, we stayed there for a total of 6 nights. 4 at the Intercontinental Chicago Magnificent Mile, and 2 at the Westin Chicago River North. My wife and I took a Southwest round-trip flight to get there, which cost us 39,398 points plus $22.40 in taxes and fees. The redemption for the Intercontinental was 141,000 points plus $128 for the daily destination fee, but we were able to take advantage of that 4th night free benefit since we have the IHG Business Premier Card. And we used that card at this hotel as well, earning 26x IHG points on that $128 charge, as the card also comes with IHG Platinum Elite status and that 60% boost on points earned. Now, I do also have Intercontinental Ambassador status, so we enjoyed that guaranteed 1 category room upgrade as well as late checkout. But the upgrade wasn't anything spectacular, just the same room type on a higher floor, and late checkout was capped at 2 p.m., even though ambassadors should get guaranteed 4 p.m. late checkout. Overall, we really enjoyed staying at this hotel due to its centralized location in Chicago on Michigan Avenue, and would definitely stay here again. And for the last 2 nights of our trip, we stayed at the Westin Chicago River North, and we redeemed 87,000 Marriott Bonvoy points for those 2 nights, and paid $68.72 for the daily destination fee. Now, we used the Chasing Preferred card for this hotel to earn 3x Ultimate Rewards points back, but what was really nice about this particular hotel was the free breakfast for 2 for Marriott Bonvoy Platinum Elite members or higher. As a cardholder of the Marriott Bonvoy Brilliant card, this card comes with automatic Platinum Elite status, so we were able to enjoy the free breakfast at this hotel both mornings that we were there, so we definitely got a lot of value from this single benefit. Sadly, we didn't get a room upgrade at this hotel, but with Marriott properties, I don't really have that expectation as a Platinum Elite member, even though it's advertised as a possibility. While we enjoyed our stay at the Westin, between these 2 hotels, if you were ever planning a trip to Chicago, Especially for tourist reasons, I'd recommend the Intercontinental because of its centralized location in downtown Chicago. Okay, so the next trip we took was to Orlando, Florida, and it had both a personal and business component. I had a conference to attend in Orlando, and since my wife and I have always wanted to go to Disney World, we decided to plan that into our itinerary and decided to also use that trip to celebrate our 1-year anniversary. So as we had an early flight to Orlando from LAX, we decided to stay the night before at the Westin Los Angeles Airport for convenience. We used a $35K free night certificate plus 6,000 Bonvoy points as a top-off for this redemption for a total of 41,000 Bonvoy points, and there was no destination fee, so this didn't cost us anything out of pocket otherwise. Now for the flight to Orlando, we decided to splurge a little bit and spent 26,000 American Airlines miles plus an upgrade fee of $968.32 for 2 first-class tickets. Although we could have certainly saved the money and just stayed in economy as a redemption, it was our anniversary, and although American Airlines first class is nothing spectacular, it really did make our flight that much more comfortable. For comparison, our flight back home from Orlando was on Southwest, and it cost us 21,864 points plus $11.20 in taxes and fees. Now as for hotels, we stayed at 1 night at the Sapphire Reserve, which is a Marriott property, 4 nights at a Disney resort property, and then 4 nights at the Hyatt Regency in Orlando. For the Sapphire Reserve, we redeemed 58,000 Bonvoy points, and there was no destination fee, so this property cost us nothing out of pocket. And just like the previous Marriott hotel, Bonvoy Platinum Elite status members or higher received complimentary continental breakfast for 2 with the option to upgrade to a hot breakfast for an additional fee. So you can start to see how powerful the Bonvoy Brilliant card can be with its automatic Platinum Elite status, as the value on these daily free breakfast offerings for 2 can start to add up very quickly. We then moved to another Disney resort property for 4 nights as a cash booking, followed by the Hyatt Regency for the conference, which was a business expense. So when we returned from Orlando back to LAX, this led right into Memorial Day weekend, and so we decided to do a staycation in Los Angeles at the Intercontinental in downtown LA. Now as an Intercontinental ambassador, another benefit is the annual complimentary weekend night. So this was the weekend that we decided to use this benefit. But the one big issue with this is that you have to not only book a special rate to use it, it's also only valid on the second night of a minimum 2-night paid weekend stay. So this hotel was super nice and luxurious, and I also learned that it's actually located in the tallest building in downtown LA, with the hotel reception located on the 70th floor. But as this was a paid stay, even with a second night free, this visit cost us $851.24, which included the daily valet fee since we drove our car to the property and parked there too. So looking back at this experience, this technically is a free night, but as we don't stay in Intercontinentals that often, I ended up spending more money in the end. And so I've decided that I'm not going to continue my Intercontinental ambassador status when it comes up for renewal. In any case, I put the hotel charges on my IHG Premier Business Card, earning 26x IHG points on that hotel bill. The next vacation that we did was in San Francisco, and the reason why we went there was to visit Alcatraz Island. The reason for this was that recently, our president announced the possibility of reopening Alcatraz Island as a federal prison. Now, whether he can actually do that or not is a different topic for a different channel, but as I haven't been in over 20 years, and my wife has never been to Alcatraz at all, we both wanted to go while we had the time to do so. So my wife and I drove to San Francisco from Sacramento and stayed for 1 night at the St. Regis using an $85K free night certificate and 3,000 Bonvoy points as a top-off for a total of 88,000 points. Overall, the cost of the hotel for us was $91.20 as we parked our car with the valet overnight, which I then put on my US Bank Altitude Reserve card for a 4.5% cashback equivalent for travel. Again, Platinum Elite status was very helpful with daily free breakfast for 2 for Platinum Elite status and higher, and we definitely took advantage of this perk at this hotel as well. We were also offered late checkout, and we were offered all the way until 4 p.m., which was great for our situation to maximize our time in San Francisco before driving back home. And so our last recent big trip was a 5-night vacation to Honolulu, Hawaii. We planned this trip about 6 months ago as a last hurrah before my wife starts her new job. To get there, we booked a round-trip ticket on Southwest Airlines for 58,078 points plus $22.40 in taxes and fees. As this was a 5-night trip, we decided to go with Hilton since they have that 5th night free benefit when redeeming stays with points. I hope I pronounced this right, but we booked the Kalai Hotel Waikiki Beach for 400,000 Hilton Honors points, again using that 5th night free benefit. Now what was great with this redemption as compared to the previous ones made with Marriott and IHG, was that destination fees are waived, saving us at least $200 because we did book this hotel with points. And of course, as a Hilton Gold member, we earned a $25 daily food and beverage credit for 2, which we maximized all 5 nights that we were there for a total value of $250 right off the bat. And if that weren't enough, at check-in, we were upgraded from the basic city view room to an ocean view room of the same type. And while that doesn't seem like a big upgrade, it actually made a huge difference in our situation. So as you can see, our hotel room came with a kitchenette with a refrigerator, coffee maker, plates and utensils, a large living room, and a pretty large bathroom. But what really made this room special was the balcony and that ocean view upgrade. My wife and I loved waking up to this view and having coffee on our balcony, enjoying the warm ocean air and natural beauty of the nearby beach every single morning. And it was such a pleasant surprise because as Hilton Gold, I rarely get upgraded, but in this situation, we were very lucky, and that upgrade made our trip that much more special. We did end up renting a car to have the flexibility to explore Oahu on our own terms, and so we used valet parking at the hotel, which was our only real charge on our hotel bill. At checkout, our hotel bill was $275.51, and I put that charge on my US Bank Altitude Reserve, again for that 4.5% cashback equivalent on travel. Now, if I had a Hilton Business, Hilton Surpass, or Hilton Aspire card, I'd definitely rather use those cards instead to earn 30 plus points back on Hilton purchases. But sadly, my wife and I both have the no annual fee Hilton Honors card, which is the white one, and the earnings rate for Hilton properties isn't worth it on that particular card, which is why I use the US Bank Altitude Reserve card instead. My wife and I also had the privilege of meeting one of my credit card consultation clients while I was in Hawaii as well. So shout out to you if you're watching this video, and it was awesome to meet you in person. Okay, so at the end of all of this, we stayed at 2 IHG properties, specifically Intercontinentals, 4 Marriott Bonvoy properties, and 1 Hilton property. For IHG, we took advantage of the 4th night free benefit when redeeming IHG points, which is a benefit that's unlocked by having any of the Chase IHG cards. So if you plan on taking full advantage of the IHG program, having at least one of these cards is essential, whether it be the no annual fee IHG Traveler card or the $99 annual fee IHG Premier or Premier Business card. And while ambassador status has great benefits at Intercontinental properties, I learned firsthand that the ambassador weekend free night isn't really worth it, and I don't plan to renew my ambassador status when it comes up for renewal in the future. For Marriott, I always say it, but I'll say it again, the Bonvoy program is a free night reward play more than it is a points play, which I've hopefully showed in these examples. Those 85K free night certificates are great for staycations and one-night stays before moving to another property, which is something that my wife and I typically use these nights for. We've also found some great use for those 35K free night certificates to stay at hotels close to the airport if we have an early flight the next morning. The Bonvoy Brilliant card has also been a great card for us as we can use the Platinum Elite status for the daily breakfast credit for 2 to get even more value from our Marriott hotel stays. But I do want to mention an important point that not every Marriott hotel offers free breakfast, even with Platinum Elite status, so your mileage with the free breakfast benefit may vary. But in our case with the Bonvoy Brilliant, this benefit plus the $25 monthly dining credit and the anniversary 85K free night certificate is still a great value if you stay at Marriott properties regularly, despite its $650 annual fee. And as for Hilton, for our purposes, Hilton Gold has been the sweet spot for us. Personally, we have this status from my Amex Platinum card, but of course, the Hilton Surpass and Business cards offer this status as well. With Hilton Gold, we get that daily $25 food and beverage credit, and at our stay in Hawaii, we were upgraded to that beautiful ocean view room that, even with just a 1 category upgrade, took our vacation to the next level. And so I hope that these examples show you how hotel credit cards and hotel elite status can really bring you a lot of value, even with the recent devaluations that we've seen. Okay, so at this point, I do want to shift gears a little bit and talk about a major update to this YouTube channel. I'm sure that some of you that watch my channel regularly have noticed that I've been posting less frequently recently, and I want to explain what's going on. First and foremost, as I just mentioned, we've been traveling a lot, so it's been hard to make content during this time. But as my wife and I have returned to a normal routine at home, there are a lot of upcoming changes happening right now in this season of our lives. One of those changes is that we're going to start looking for a home, which is something we've been talking about for a while. At this point, we're ready to start applying for mortgages and finding a real estate agent, and as first-time home buyers, we've got a lot to learn about the process. And looking for a house in our market, which is the Southern California area, isn't going to be that easy, so we'd like to focus on finding the best house for our situation. And on that note, my wife has recently started a new job, and as she's going to be less available, I want to be more present for her and support her as she starts this new phase of her career. Not only this, but my job is becoming busier as well, which leaves me less time to devote to creating and filming these YouTube videos. And so that's one side of things, but the other side is a bit more personal, and that's related to my own general health. Now, it's nothing super concerning or anything like that, but over the past few years, I've noticed that I've been gaining a lot of weight, and more recently have been having other symptoms like fatigue and a lot of sluggishness throughout the day. And just to give a little more context for those of you who don't know, I do work a full-time job which requires a lot of travel, plus some weekends as well, and I work this job in addition to doing YouTube on the side. So most, if not all of my free time outside of work is devoted to creating, filming and editing these YouTube videos. But since I spend most of my free time outside of my primary job doing YouTube, it's come at the expense of maintaining healthy habits like eating right and going to the gym regularly. And as it relates to those other symptoms such as fatigue and sluggishness, as a healthcare professional, I'm no stranger to burnout, and I think my body is just starting to tell me that I'm headed in that direction, and I need to make some changes to my lifestyle if I want to make sure that it doesn't get worse. And this is so frustrating to me because I still want to make videos, especially now with all of these big changes happening in the credit card world. But when it comes down to it, I have to be honest with myself, and I've come to the realization that I can't continue at the same pace with YouTube as I have in the past. While I love making these videos for all of you discussing credit cards and credit card strategies, in this season of my life, I need to step away from YouTube so I can use that time to focus on other aspects of my personal life. As I've discussed as a guest on other channels, when it comes down to it, this YouTube channel, for me, has always been a hobby, and I'm so happy with the channel that we've built together over the past 3.5 years to create and discuss credit card strategies to maximize our cashback and points earning potential. I always told myself that if I ever had to step away from YouTube, that I wouldn't just disappear, but I'd at least explain to you why. Because as a viewer, you've given me the best gift of all, which is your time and your support. Now, I want to be clear about this. This isn't goodbye, just goodbye for now. I'd still like to make videos when I can, and if there's a credit card topic that I think needs to be covered or addressed, I'll make a video about it. I just can't promise regular weekly videos on this channel anymore. It's also great that there are so many other amazing YouTube credit card content creators out there to pick up my slack. And so I'm confident that the credit card videos will never stop and the credit card strategies will continue to evolve. And as I won't be creating as much content anymore, my hope is to at least be more active in my fellow creators' videos and live streams, and so hopefully we can still discuss credit card strategies together in that capacity. Of course, I'll also continue to respond to comments in my past videos, so you can get in touch with me that way if you have a question about a certain topic. And so with that being said, I truly appreciate you for sticking around to the end of this video, and I hope to see you again in a future video whenever that may be.